No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Let's fix that. Welcome back, my friends, to TTBurger Remastered game reviews, and this is episode 1, where I'm covering my Ace Combat series review. This is episode 1, part 3 of 6, and I hope you're all doing well today, because we have a lot to talk about here for part 3. But those of you who missed what happened in part 2 of my first Remastered series review, here's a TTBurger recap to show you all what you missed, as I took a look at Ace Combat 2 for the PlayStation, gave it a 9.5 out of 10 because it improved a lot on a lot of the problems in the first game and fixed them up here, but there were still a couple quirks and stuff that were holdovers from the first game, so I could not give it a perfect 10. But it was still a really good game and definitely worth checking out for sure. Today we're going to zoom ahead to March 2nd of the year 2000 as we take a look at the third game and the final game of the Ace Combat series on the PlayStation. This is the last one before the PlayStation 2 came out, and we're going to look at it right here. This is Ace Combat 3, Electrosphere, once again done by Namco, like I said, released on March 2nd of the year 2000. And with Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, you'd think that like the third game in the franchise, they would improve from Ace Combat 2 and make it the best one out of the bunch. But sadly, Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere was a big disappointment compared to the first two games. And it was just amazing me that like it was like a huge step backwards that we had this game, and thinking about like how good the second game was, it just makes me wonder what happened. One of the immediate problems you'll notice is in Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere is that the game is lacking in many ways, mainly due to the fact that this game went through many changes in the North American release here. The North American version had a lot of stuff cut from the original Japanese version, like the story, the cutscenes, the voice acting, and there were missions cut from the game. And the fact that the Japanese version was on 2 discs, this one was only on 1 disc, and just like a lot was cut from some unknown reason, and just really was botched in North America. But the thing is here, even if you have all the features from the Japanese version in this one, it would still be a disappointment. And I will say that I did not like this game for the most part. It had some good elements in it, but are overshadowed by the negatives. And it's just the way the game feels and everything like that. It just really makes this game very lacking in everything. I mean, the first problem here you'll notice is that the way this game feels. This does not feel like an Ace Combat game. Well, the setting and stuff, that sure you fly aircrafts and stuff like that, and you shoot enemy aircrafts down. But this doesn't really have that Ace Combat feel to it. This feels more like a sci-fi futuristic anime themed flying game and stuff. And compared to the war combat that flying theme in the first two games, this theme for this one really stands out. When you get into the game, you notice that the game has some really good detailed graphics for a PlayStation game. They've improved over Ace Combat 2, and they look great with everything, and they animate made well. The aircraft models look fantastic, and they look very detailed. They're kind of like on par with like Driver You're the Wheelman's graphics, like with the car models and stuff, and they kind of look like that. And the backgrounds are fantastic looking too, and they got the great draw distance, and so does the opening cutscene look great too. But graphics are not the main reason why we play a video game. Sound is also a disappointment there. No voice acting for the most part, except for the computer voice that you hear says engaged, update target, mission accomplished, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And all of the voice work was done in Japanese, and they got rid of it for this version. Seriously, I mean, they couldn't have kept it in Japanese with English subtitles, or at least dubbed it and stuff like that. Even though I'm not the big fan of English dubs, they could have like recorded some English on it. I mean, would have had the story there. But that's no excuse for this at all. I mean, the thing is, like, even if they did have it though, it wouldn't have made it much better because of the story and everything like that. But there's not even voice acting for the mission briefings either. And what is funny is, when going into the options menu, there is a setting to turn captions on or off. And I think to myself, what captions? Oh, you mean like when you hear the computer say engage or update target? That's what the caption setting is for? Are you really kidding me? I mean, we needed the caption setting to turn on or off those words in the middle of the screen. That's pretty weird if you ask me. Music has also changed. Instead of the rock tunes, we have these futuristic techno tunes, and while some of them sound really good and catchy, they are really out of place compared to the first two games. Now I know this may sound like a ranting bitch fest, but believe me, when you play this game, you'll notice that there's something lacking and missing about this, definitely. Gameplay is okay. I mean, it plays like an Ace Combat game where you pick an aircraft and you go into missions and you just shoot down the enemies or the targets and so, rinse, lather, repeat and stuff like that. And it does improve like with the controls handle really well and they're very smooth, and like the way you turn everything like that feels much better. But the game for the most part feels way too easy. It's hard to die in this game because it's very easy to avoid missiles and stuff like that, and the only way you can pretty much die is if you hit a wall or something like that or hit the ground. And like you will barely die in this game. And like you have 22 aircrafts in Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, but the problem is some of the aircrafts from the first two games are missing. There's no F4, F-14 or MiG-31 or so, and or no TNDF-2 or something like that. And also you cannot buy aircrafts anymore. They just come unlocked after certain missions. And some of them look cool and stuff. You can only use them for like one or two missions or so before it gets taken away from you. You can customize your weapon layout too, like what type of machine gun or missile you want too, and that's really cool because it adds the fun to that. But with not the ability to unlock aircraft or anything, not unlock anything, it takes the fun out of it. I mean, those were, and like the thing like there's no F4 and F-14 stuff. Those were some of the default aircrafts in the first two games, and they are not here. Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere has 36 missions in the North American version. In the original Japanese had 50. There is still a handful of missions here. So they're like making it the most out of the game so far with the franchise, but they go by way too fast. Some of them are only like 2 minutes long and stuff, and it's just like at the end of the day, you got a mediocre flight combat game that's not that good. I mean, actually, it's not even mediocre. It's considered poor compared to the first two games and stuff like that. And they just removed a lot and it was changed for no reason. And like, even if you have all the content from the Japanese version, you pretty much just, in the end though, you pretty much have just like a shallow package like that. The game doesn't even feel like an Ace Combat game. It feels more like a sci-fi anime game with like some flying in it and stuff and shooting down aircraft. That's pretty much what it is there. I would only be able to recommend this game to hardcore Ace Combat fans. Those of you who like flying games, just stick with the first two Ace Combat games and just do it that. Because the first two Ace Combat games were better, so just check those out. My final thoughts here is that this game was very disappointing and just, it didn't need to have any changes to it because the first two were fine the way they are. So it didn't need to be changed at all. So final thoughts here this game was very poor. Due to the complaints I have with Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, the score I'll be giving it is a 3 out of 10 because it has good graphics and the gameplay has some decent elements to it and stuff, but it's pretty much all the positive stuff is pretty much overshadowed by the negative aspects I have with the game. I know people may like this game, but coming from someone who's a fan of these type of games, yeah, if you play Ace Combat, you'll pretty much know that this game is was just disappointing there. And that's it for episode 1 of my remastered game reviews, part 3 of 6. Stay tuned as we dive into the PlayStation 2 era of Ace Combat, as we take a look at the very first Ace Combat game on the PlayStation 2, Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies. Now, how does this game fare from Ace Combat 3? Does it fare better from like Ace Combat 3 and make it better? We have to find out in episode 1, part 4 of 6 of my remastered game, which all I gotta say, now you know the drill. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Gaming United. I always looking for more people to join, and link to the description below. The more quick 24 hours, it's a permanent link, so feel free to click on it. Which all I gotta say is Tony, peace now, have a good day, see you all in part 4.